Wherever you are in the world, your somber Sunday is about to be slaughtered with Lionel laughter coming your way. Thank you for tuning in, folks. All of the links for Lionel are in the description box, and we have some very serious issues to discuss, don't we, Lionel?
What? Oh, dear God, no. Only by accident, perhaps. No, but I've got some very serious things to do. And by the way, for those people who don't know this, you and I never talk about what we're going to talk about ahead. I mean, we kind of have a couple of things, like you mentioned Descartes and vitamin B6 deficiency, which I thought was weird. But aside from that, we really don't know what we're going to be talking about ahead of time. But I want to get to just something which is on my mind, because it's my top of mind awareness, if you don't mind. We have an expression, do something or get off the pot, fish or cut bait. Whatever it is with Jay-Z or Diddy, do it, move on, let's go. Do these gentlemen have the right to any kind of constitutional rights? I think. Do they? Whatever they did, whether it's not for me to figure out. I don't care if you are a death camp, whatever it is. Everybody deserves due process. Either you have it or you don't. And that's it. So my question is, as you know, Sean, I always say that, as you know, if I've got a case, if I'm the federal government and I bring a case against you, I should be able to go tomorrow. Let's say I've got you in some interstate, I've got phone calls, I got the people, I'm ready to go. I can go, and you can say, okay, let's go. Let me do a little bit of preparatory. I'm not going to bring you a case that's 30 years old, 20 years old. Somebody saw you. Maybe you did. I want to balance the necessity of addressing these very, very serious personal forms of assaulting of people. I understand that. But there's something called due process, where maybe I might not be able to bring a case because it's just too far away. Let me give you a couple of things. In the U.S., we have a thing called speedy trial. Speedy trial is an actual statute where you've got to bring sometimes charges, felonies, depending upon the date of arrest, whether it's state or federal. But you have a time period, depending upon if it's a felony or misdemeanor or whatever it is. That's statutory speedy trial. Then there's this thing called constitutional speedy trial, which really isn't set in stone, but it's the idea that you've got to be able to bring a case relatively free or quickly. And then there's pre-accusatory delay. This is when I don't even charge you. Forget the fact that I've charged you and I'm waiting to bring you to trial. I just wait forever. Now, from a practical point of view, for the most part, it always benefits a defendant to put things off as much as possible. Absolutely, positively. However, when you're in prison, when you're in jail, and prison looks just like jail holding, which looks like preliminary jail, it's the same. You want to say, bring me to trial, get me out of here. We have the presumption of innocence under the 8th Amendment, but Diddy is there because he is such a horrible threat to society. If ever there's somebody who's going to be absolutely, positively on the straight and narrow, it's going to be him. Because if you let him out, he's going to threaten people or he's going to flee the country. Imagine him fleeing the country. Him? It's absurd. It's embarrassing. And we're pretending that he's, some huge terrorist. He's Carlos the Jackal. It's ridiculous. And people will say, well, are you suggesting he didn't do anything? I don't know. It's not whether you did it, it's can you prove it? This is and then this week, Jay-Z had his case dismissed of what? This Busby guy, what is he doing? How are you dropping it? You don't drop a case with what? Did you change your mind? Did you talk to the person for the first time? Why did you drop the charges? What happened? What did you learn? I mean, this is embarrassing. And you just sit there with that smile on your face.
Lionel did call the outcome of the Jay-Z case many times on this channel, and it has come to be what he said has come to be. So, yeah. And that is because Lionel is a realist. He's not, him and his wife do excellent work against the human transporters. He's totally against those people, but he is a realist when it comes to evidence and the mechanics of the law, the machine.
But you're going to want that yourself if the moment you find yourself. Listen, everybody deserves to have the full force, faith, and credit of the government against you, where you say to yourself, okay, I screwed up, but is it really worth this? I say, okay already. Okay. Take it easy. All right, I made a mistake. My God. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell is, what? Don't get me started with that. It's so unfair. The whole system stinks, and I've been a part of it. It stinks. Now, I'll tell you who's really batting 1,000. Alex Spiro, who was Jay-Z's lawyer, gets that one done. And that doesn't mean there's not going to be some. I hope that's the end of it. Number two, he's bringing a case against the mayor, or defending the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, who's going to have his case dismissed by Trump. And three, I think he represented Elon Musk, who, by the way, has his interesting case regarding a paternity allegation, which is one of the strangest. Did you hear us? Not exactly a resounding, that's my boy. It's like, well. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
I'm curious. What is the case?
You didn't hear the one there. There's a woman who claims that she bore Elon's 13th child.
Well, he is a breeder, isn't he? He is quite the breeder. He's quite the breeder.
But did you hear this case? And he's like not really acknowledged it. Somebody put something up, and he said, "Whoa, WHOA." That was his response. It's very strange. But listen, he can afford it. I don't think he's gonna skip on the child support. I don't think anything is gonna happen. But anyway, notwithstanding.
So, what does this mean for Diddy then? Because Diddy was in this case with Jay-Z. As Diddy, he's still gone.
The longer this case happens, the more people are confused. You've got people who, I sent you something today. I think it was from Vulture. It said it was a chronology. Did you know half of those cases? I don't even know these people's names. I don't even know who these people are. And I can see, and the best part is when your client tells you, "Who's this?" That's a good sign. Who's this? I don't know what you're talking about. So I don't know. Now listen, the bottom line is simply this. Look, I don't know if you have an expression in your country. We have ambulance chasers. These are civil lawyers who go after where the money is. Okay. Gee, surprise, surprise. Ask somebody, would you take my case on for free? Huh? Pro bono? What? They're hoping for a payday. And this is not, I'm not exactly ruining anybody's night. I'm telling you the God's honest truth. But do it if you've really got something there. And even in the case, remember the case of Michael Jackson, where everybody thought, oh, he's definitely, I'm not even sure about that. You see, Sean, it's the nature of this case. You see, there's this thing called, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody ever wants to talk about it. It's the degree. It's the type. Whenever, you have the big M, it's pretty final, he's not there. This is a different story. How do you have, let me give you an example. And I'm trying to work within the parameters. Jane, Eileen, oh, bless your heart. Jane, it must be pretty slow around those parts if you want to listen to us. But let me see if I can talk and do YouTube speak, if I could. As you know, when a man and a woman engage in acts of amour, if they are over the age consent and it's consensual, it's groovy. You can do whatever you want. I mean, you really can do whatever you want. That's it. If it's consensual. When consent is withdrawn, one would say, you better withdraw. Once you said, right, that's enough, then it's over with. Then, okay, let me give you a case that will blow your mind. I think this was a California case years ago. Girlfriend, boyfriend, in flagrante delicto, in amour. She says, I've got to go. They were in the middle of this. I've got to go. Now, they knew each other. This is many, many times. He thought that meant, can you wrap things up so we can, he said, okay, all right. I'll wrap things up here. Later on, they had some kind of a falling out. She said, no, that meant stop. I've got to go. Now he said, wait a minute, gotta go. What says, when do you got? Well, we're not done yet. I know you. You're not a stranger. Make a long story short, I think it went to the California Supreme Court, and if I'm not mistaken, they upheld the conviction and said that was a withdrawal of consent. And any kind of confusion has to be, you can't use mistake of fact as a defense. Like, well, I didn't know. Now this is like, you've got to be. Who brought this case? Who brought this case? What about when you have somebody? What is the age of consent in the UK where you are? What is it? 21? 16. Okay, 16. Okay. What if somebody's 16 and one person is 50? What if somebody? Yeah. What if it's a 15-year-old and an 18-year-old, and they've been together for the whole time? What if she's there is no consideration for this. I'll tell you a case I had one time. I prosecuted a woman for aiding to the dependency of a minor. Listen to this. It was a dog. I got stuck with this. Her sister was the defendant, an 18 or 20, whatever year old, an adult, had a sister who was like 16 years old or so, who was a call girl. That's a term you don't even hear anymore. I mean, a professional. Used to hang around hotels and wore minks, looked like 30 years old, but okay. She on her own was doing her thing. The sister never consented to it, never liked it, but they roomed together. One day, the sister, the one I'm prosecuting, 30 years old, she's painting her toenails when the sister comes in with an undercover cop. They're talking back and forth. How much for this? How much for that? How long for this? Well, what do I get? Anything. What do you mean? Anything. What do you think? What do you mean? Anything, 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 anything. And the sister, who hadn't said a word, painting her toenails, says, anything sexual. Jesus, and then went back to what she was doing. They charged her with aiding to used to be called the delinquency or the dependency, meaning that you're aiding to a course of conduct that will result in this child being dependent upon the state or the government for help. It's the most ridiculous. This is the most experience this woman had at the age of 16. So anyway, they give me this case and I say, you have got to be kidding me. This is a dog. Do it. Take it. I said, all right, but I'm not going to win it because this woman didn't do anything. And I even told the defense lawyer, I said, I got news for you. This thing is a dog, but no hard feelings. I understand that. I even told the judge, please let it go to the jury. Please, just give me a fighting chance. They were going to JOA or dismiss it before it went to the jury. Here was my cross-examination. Here comes the 16-year-old call girl. Boom, 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 boom. Looks, and the jury is looking at her like, what is this? It looks like somebody from Dynasty. She looked like a call girl, like from the 70s or the 80s. And I'm like this. Oh, I didn't even want to look. And the jury is looking at me like, what is this? This is the victim? And I'm thinking, just hear me out. So anyway, I get cross-examination. I get the chance to get up there. First rule of cross-examination, don't do it. Just don't do it. It's their witness. You're not going to just have them say, thank you, and get them out of there. But I thought, this one I'm going to make an exception. I said, do you consider yourself a good, what did she call herself, a working girl? She had some euphemism for it. I think we all know what that means. Do you consider yourself good? Yes. Would you consider yourself a professional? Absolutely. And isn't the mark of a professional being a good liar? What? You got to be a good liar to do what you're doing. Like for the police to say, "What are you doing here?" Like if the hotel detective comes and goes, "What are you doing here?" "Oh no, I'm just waiting for somebody." You got to be a good liar. You got to be quick on your feet. You got to be a good liar. Oh, I guess. But you're not lying now, are you? No. No further questions. I leave. I sit down. I don't even look up. I don't look up. I'm reading something that because I'm so embarrassed that I got this dog of a case. And they're reading the jury instructions. And normally I'm very attentive and I'm looking. I'm like, oh, this is a. Come back, guilty. And I said, what? Me? What? Guilty. And I'm saying, guilty of what? I don't even know. What did you do? What did she do? Not the call girl, the sister. What did the sister do? I don't know what she did. And I thought to myself, oh, this is the scare me. I was the one arguing. I said, I don't want any probation. Nothing. I'm like, you couldn't have told me from the defense lawyer. This is ridiculous. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here? There's something I sound like Al Pacino, something very wrong here. Well, anyway, I've seen this a gazillion times before, where some people are hit with stuff, some people aren't. I know nobody was talking about it. President Trump was charged with doing something that doesn't make any sense. You know that what happens is, you know what an NDA is, right? A non-disclosure agreement called a hush money. Do you ever leave a non-disparagement? You work with somebody and you leave and you sign it you get your final pay and you say, and you agree not to say any bad about us, non-disclosure. Don't tell any secrets that you've learned. You know, you work for a BBC or whatever it is. Happens all the time. NDA called hush money. Hush money. If you and I were in a car park and we bang into each other and I say, look, do me a favor. I'll give you 100 pounds or whatever it is. Just sign this thing. Just go away. It happens all the time. That's what Trump did. And they wanted to put him away for 34 counts of this. Of what? I don't even know what he did. 34 counts. Anyway, so I'm here to tell you that the whole thing stinks. We get things right most of the time. The people who are in prison don't deserve to be there, most of them. They don't deserve to be locked up, because when you lock somebody up, when you let them out, they're worse than when you put them in there. You only want to get the people who really are bad. And when you put them in forever. You don't just put them for 5 years. What's the point of 5 years? Probation works more than ever.
Why has Jay-Z dropped the case against Busby if he didn't do anything? Surely he would be owed millions for defamation.
Why has Jay-Z dropped the case against Busby? You know, one of the things you've got to realize is that it's better. Is that you making that noise?
No, you.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah.
What is this? I'm getting this. It's the weirdest.
Aliens coming.
Huh?
It's
the
alien invasion.
I don't know what it is. A couple of things. First, every time, I know Jay-Z's got a lot of money, but this guy Spiro makes, I don't know how much he's charging an hour, $750, $1,000, who knows? The money he's spending is just absolutely out of this world. What is the point of this? Not to mention, if there's a lawsuit, then you have a right to discovery. And that means that, okay, I sue you, and then I can bring you into a deposition, and I get to ask you questions. And it doesn't matter. Lawsuits are the worst way to handle cases. It's the worst. Arbitration is better. Just be done with this. So now, right off the bat, I don't know if anybody here is innocent or an angel. Nobody is. Look, Sean, you and I know this world that they live in. Not only that, from going back in the days of Judy Garland to you name it, to all of these people out there, these people who have been involved in the most incredible of events. This is horrible. But let me also ask you a question. What do I do when somebody who came in asking for it. Now, you know, and I know. Let's go through a couple of things. There is no such thing as she asked for it, but there is. You're not supposed to say it. Not that somebody asked to be attacked. I don't think we're talking here about people who were severely physical. I don't know. I don't know the facts of the case. These are more of, it's kind of like either a consensual or maybe non-consensual through being knocked out or whatever it is. But we're not talking about somebody whose eyes are shut. They're in a hospital and they're on a ventilator.